Yes, men's soccer. We're coming up on our last week here of the spring season, and we've had a positive and productive spring season. For us, it's really a development time for the players, both athletically, tactically, soccer-wise, of course. And yeah, we get to play 5 games in the spring season. We've played 4 of those 5 games. Our final game will be this Saturday against Marquette. We've played University of Wisconsin Green Bay, which was a 3-0 win. We played Lewis, 3-0 win. We tied NIU 1-1, and this past weekend we lost to Forward Madison 3-2. But we've integrated some new players, 3 new transfers, 2 transfers from UCLA, 1 transfer from Coastal Carolina who have fit in well to the program. And we are working on a number of different things, but we've lost players due to graduation and got a new recruiting class coming in August. So we're excited about the future. I think this team will continue to grow and continue to improve throughout this week and then into the fall when we add a number of new recruits. So we're excited about where we're at and looking forward to the future.
Could you just talk a little bit about this past weekend's game against Forward, the atmosphere there? It was a cold night. There was still a really great crowd. And would you ever consider playing there during a regular season game?
The game was great, and we got to play that game last year, and it was 70 degrees, and it was not 70 degrees on Saturday, but there was still over 2,000 people out there. And speaking to Connor, the owner of the club, we want to make this like an annual thing. We had an awesome turnout from our alumni. Forward Madison looked after our alumni very well and had them in one of those VIP suites. And I know the alumni had a great time. So that was fun. For the game itself, we were a little bit disappointed with especially the last goal that we gave up. That's a little bit uncharacteristic of how we're going to defend in those moments. So that's disappointing. But the event itself and the celebration of soccer in this city and, the Battle of Madison, and it's fun. Our guys are super up for it and excited for the challenge against a professional team. And, yeah, we're disappointed that we lost. We tied last year. We lost this year. So hopefully next year we can turn it around again. But that will be an annual game. In terms of playing there permanently, I'm not sure. The turf, the artificial turf, I'm not a huge fan of just for, wear and tear on the body and injuries and things like that. It's a little bit more common to get injuries on artificial turf. We love our natural grass surface. It's one of the best, if not the best in the Big Ten, our actual playing surface. So we love playing at McClymonn, and until I'm told otherwise, that's where we'll be playing.
You mentioned the celebration of soccer in Madison. Now that you've been and you've settled down here into Madison, what do you see from the community here and and how they love soccer?
Yeah, this community loves soccer. I think it's awesome. The flock out there at Forward Madison games, the student and community support that we get at McClymonn, I think is being really good. I've really enjoyed seeing great crowds out at McClymonn, and obviously seeing how the pro team in town is supported. I mean, this isn't the biggest city in the country, as we know, and they're getting really good crowds out there, and they have the top attendance in that division that they play. They average over 4,000 a game, and I think we're going to continue to build good crowds for our home games. Everyone wants to support a winner, as we know, and we need to continue to improve in that area. But we had great crowds last year. We had an awesome student night, the March to McClymonn, which will be happening again this coming fall. And I think there's really good interest. And, there's so many kids that are playing soccer and their parents are dragging them out to games, and they want to see the highest level in their local community, which is the Badgers and Forward Madison too.
Is there anyone or a couple players that have impressed you this spring? Maybe improvement that you've seen from them individually and what they'll add to the team this fall?
Yes, we've got three new players that transferred in January, 2 from UCLA, actually twins. They've added a lot to our team. So it's Nate Crockford, who's a goalkeeper, and then Charlie Crockford, who's a central midfielder. And in terms of personality and what they've added to our locker room off the field, that's helped us because we lost a lot of personality due to graduation. And then on the field, they've done pretty well. And I thought Charlie played really well this weekend in the midfield against Forward Madison. So excited to see what he can do against Marquette, and then moving into the fall. Tim Bialik is a player that has decided to return for his 5th year, and he is the heartbeat of our team. Just an absolute amazing person and character and leader of our group, and I've continued to enjoy watching his improvement, mainly as a leader, because he's a really good player and he kind of continues just to be great all the time in every training session. So I know who he is as a player, but I've kind of seen a little bit of improvement in his leadership ability this spring, which is positive.
You get to finish off with two, well, obviously last weekend against Forward, but another kind of a unique situation this weekend at Breese Stevens with a doubleheader. How much energy does that add to the guys in the spring? I know it's kind of the off season, but it's an important time of year, but that's kind of seems like a great way to finish out your training.
Yeah, I mean, look, we don't play enough games, like that's not our fault. That's just the rules that are given to us by the NCAA. So between, I think we played our last game of the championship season on like November 7th last year. So between November 7th and August 12th of next year, we play 5 games. That's tough for the guys. So there's a lot of training, not enough games. So for the games that we are allowed, we try to make them as quality on opponent and quality in environment, quality in a situation that we can learn from, and also is similar to the environments that we play in the Big Ten, either at home or on the road. So yeah, playing at Breese Stevens in front of 2,500 people on Saturday night, and then playing a local rival also at Breese Stevens after a Forward Madison game, because Forward Madison plays this weekend in a pro game at 5, and we play Marquette right after at 7:30. What more do you want as a student athlete? The experience to be able to do that, and hopefully some Forward Madison fans will stick around and watch us play Marquette. But yeah, I mean, Marquette, Wisconsin, that's a big game. So I think we'll be up for that game again. We've got to do a little bit of soul searching this week after a tough loss on Saturday, but we'll be back and ready to go on Saturday.
Do you approach the spring season different than you do the fall season? Is it more individual, or is it more just kind of everybody fitting into the team?
We always want to win every single game we play. However, we do want to give everyone an opportunity to showcase what they can do and how they can help us, and if they can help us. So, yeah, we approach it differently. The fall is about results. The fall is about chasing championships and trying to get into the NCAA tournament, whereas the spring, the record doesn't count for anything, but the experience and the development of the players definitely does. Because I talk about the spring as this is preseason leading into the fall. So what we learn and how we develop this spring is going to carry us through the fall.